We have breaking news. Don Lemon, our friend and colleague, he has been taken into federal custody. An attorney for Don Lemon, Abby Lowell, very respected attorney, he has put out a statement saying Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists like Don, and I'll read the rest of the statement, whose role is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There's no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work.
The idea that a journalist in America, for simply covering a story, isn't that what the First Amendment is there for?
That's right.
Can be hauled into custody.
Katie in Minneapolis. just when I thought you guys were going to settle things down, you kick it back up again.
Yeah.
What are people? Oh, let's see. I got my cousin Carolyn here. Cousin, former federal prosecutor.
Hello.
Carolyn is
Hi.
on the case. Here's Katie. Katie in Katie Bear from Minneapolis. I think y'all have met before.
Yeah. Hi, Katie.
Hi. Yeah. And I know you don't have a whole lot of time, Carolyn, but I wanted to get your federal prosecutor background in play here. One of the things we're hearing, the legal correspondent on MS Now just
I read that this morning
about the local prosecutors.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? What's your understanding of what the story is and what it means?
Well, I would assume, and what it says, I think the report said that they did not believe there was sufficient evidence for it. And based on what I read about the facts, there's not. So they are saying that they will not participate in it. If they walk out, then fine. And then you said, didn't you say that Main Justice is taking it over? Is that what you said? Okay.
Certainly, Main Justice is the one.
Yeah, it's very unusual for that.
I mean, not only that, sometime maybe very soon in this hour, Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, is going to come out and do the official statement about this case. Now that also is unusual.
That's highly unusual for the
really
to be involved in that. And they'd also said that I think several magistrates had refused to sign the warrant for the arrest, and also the chief judge in the district had refused to sign it, and that Main Justice went to the Court of Appeals to try to get it signed. And so then my understanding is that they got a grand jury indictment. That's my understanding. And that's how then the warrant was issued, because there was an indictment. But the magistrate and the chief judge of the district refused to sign the warrant based on just an information, which is what you call the document that's just charging on the say-so of the U.S. Attorney's Office or the department, not based on an indictment.
And so before people get carried away and say, well, the grand jury's agreed. Well, let's remember is it the Comey case? They essentially lied to the grand jury.
Yeah.
Isn't that what happened?
Yeah. I don't know.
To get an indictment.
In the first case, I don't know whether it was lying. There was evidence before the grand jury that should not have been before the grand jury. That was one of the issues.
And one of the things the acting attorney general, who's since been thrown out of her job by the
acting U.S. attorney,
acting U.S. attorney. That's why
she had presented evidence that was inappropriate.
And one of the things she did is she told them, well, we're going to get evidence. We're going to have some evidence to prove this in the future. And the judge was just astounded by that. I mean, that a prosecutor, that she would go in there to get an indictment and tell the grand jury, well, give us the indictment and we'll get the evidence later. That's essentially what she told.
You know what? She didn't know any better. She had never been in a grand jury before. She didn't know.
Well, anyway, I think it's important to remember that recent history before we get carried away, because they're going to say, well, it must be a good indictment because they got a grand jury. Well, we know how they go about getting grand jury indictments in the past. So it could be. Oh, wait a second. Todd Blanche is talking right now.
Ooh.
Let me go see who's got that live for us.
Each two.
Let me see if MS Dow's carrying that on their live feed. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let me get his volume up. Here we go.
And effectuating the mission of the department.
And let me get him on the screen. Okay, there.
They work tirelessly to protect victims and comply with the act since its passage. So thank you.
Can y'all hear that?
Them.
Yeah, it needs to be a little bit louder.
Yeah,
2
these
million
feeds
pages,
are not
including
loud
more
enough.
than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. In total,
The Epstein files.
that means that the department produced approximately 2
Oh,
million pages in compliance with the act.
Distraction.
Just a quick note about the
I don't know
videos
what
and
that's
images.
about.
The
He's
2,000
talking about the
videos and
Epstein files.
180,000
Okay, well,
images are not.
we'll come back to him later then. And then we got somebody else in the house. Hello, Betty.
Hello, Betty.
Betty. Oh, that's my that's my friend Betty. That's not
Hi,
just any
Craig.
Betty. Hi there. Betty is a former workmate of my. You might even been his boss of my husband David back in the federal government days. What's up? Are you watching this Don Lemon stuff?
Oh, Carolyn, you're mute here.
Oh, did Carolyn go mute? Is somebody
She
else
popped.
mute? Is anybody else mute?
No.
Okay. Okay, Carolyn. Oh, we lost Carolyn. Okay, Betty, what's up? Can you hear me, Betty?
Oh.
We're having trouble with Betty too. Okay. Yeah. So Todd Blanche came on to talk about Epstein. I guess if he takes questions, I'm sure they'll ask him about the Don Lemon thing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
don't know. I just get the feeling that they're doctoring some stuff or whatever.
I mean, that was. Carolyn was in the the Department of Justice for about 30 years. And almost every time we talk these days, she says, well, that's never been done before. Everything. It's like every time I see Trump say, well, nobody's ever seen anything like this before. I think, well, you're right about that. Nobody's ever seen anything like you before in the presidency. That for sure.
Well, and the thing is with Don Lemon, he is a known name that is now in independent media. And because he's a known name, he has a lot of followers. People like him. They like his truth talks. They like how down to earth he is and how just regular old Joe he can be. And when he did this, like I said, literally he came to Minnesota. They said, hey, we're organizing something. Do you want to be involved? And he goes, oh, I'd love to cover it. And he even has video of him in the parking lot before they leave for the thing. And he's interviewing them because it's for journalistic purposes. And he just goes with the flow. He said, in journalism, you have to go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and even if he was there sympathetic to who he was covering, that makes no difference. I mean, so long as he wasn't doing any of those illegal acts that you described. Actually, we hadn't gone on air yet. Go back to that statute because you looked it up that they're basing these charges on.
Here, I'll copy it and paste it so you can. Here is. But this is from the DOJ website. I'll put it in the studio chat so you can just pull it up. Click it.
Oh, okay. Oh, excellent. All right. Good work. All right. Let's see. We can share that tab and Let's see. That works, I believe.
You're not a robot.
I'm not a robot. Well, I don't know. Am I? I don't know. I am not a robot. All right. Freedom of access. Now, on here somewhere is the actual
Up at the top.
like at the language of the top. Freedom of
Yes.
Oh, this is the name of it. Freedom of this is the law that they are basing the charges against Don Lemon. Freedom of
Correct.
access to clinic entrances and places of religious work. So this comes from looks like a 1994 law that was intended to prosecute abortion clinic protesters, but it also was made applicable to places of worship. And then here's the language. Make this a little bigger for us to see. Can we see that? I'll make the screen bigger too. And the language of the act is it prohibits let's go through. This is what they have to prove: the use or threat of force.
And physical obstruction.
For these one at a time. We'll go one at a time. Use or threat of force. So you just threaten force. You don't actually. I mean, that's
Correct.
a pretty low bar, actually. But what is threat of force? You still got to say, "I'm going to hit you," or something. And then, so that's one requirement, which is a pretty low bar, but still, you got to have, a recording or an eyewitness or something that says that the person threatened force. All right, then you got to have physical obstruction, and then this is there's a little more to it. Physical obstruction that injures, intimidates. Now, intimidates is a subjective word, so a person can say I was intimidated. Injures, that's different. Injures is an objective term. That's you have physical injuries you can use for that, but for intimidates you can have a little less. And then interferes with is sort of a middle ground phrase, between something subjective and objective. So I mean, interferes with, you'd have to take some physical act that qualifies as interfering. Seeking, now here's where we see it was meant for abortion clinics, but it went further and said that any of these things you do to interfere with the exercise of First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of religious worship. So this is the part they're relying on, at a place of religious worship, to say that these people and Don Lemon.
I will say this: no one was held against their will. People were leaving. The thing is with protesting, and I'm going to say it because I've said it before, the purpose of protesting is making people uncomfortable so they realize there is a problem. It is to get the word out. It's to get, mobilization and people working to help the community. And it's about standing up for what you believe in. And I don't agree personally that they should have gone in. That's just my thing. But technically it's freedom of speech. And I'm not a Jesus did this, Jesus said that person at all. I'm very agnostic. But Jesus himself went in and protested in his own church because they weren't doing what he told them they should be doing in his own church. It's kind of a pastime with that. But the thing is that I think it could have been done a different way. Yeah. But
we talked about it at the time. I mean, you brought it to our attention almost in real time when it happened, and we were talking about it, and we agreed. I don't like the idea of interrupting a church service, but as we got the details, I mean, the way the woman described it, who they also have charged earlier, who was a leader of the protest group, the way she described what happened, I saw her interviewed about it, and she described it that they went in there, they were sitting quietly, and she stood up to say something to the preacher there, because their issue was that an ICE commander or some sort of ICE official was a pastor in that church, and she didn't think the congregation knew about that. And she said, she stood up and said something in complaining that, that one of their pastors was an ICE official, and that's all she did. And then the response from the pastor of the church who was there standing up there was he started shouting, "Shame, shame, shame."
Yeah.
And in response to that, then her group ratcheted up what they were saying, but there was no physical altercations. I mean,
Right.
It was just words. It was
just words, and people who were uncomfortable left, and people that were okay with it stayed. And the thing is, one of the people that Don Lemon actually interviewed, that somebody talked to him, said, there's differentiating political views in this church. We've actually had discussions about it in church. And he said, some people might be okay with it. Some people might not be, but he said they're up to their own opinions and they can leave if they want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Dungon's in the house.
Hello.
I see you in the comment house. You can come on in here to the big house if you want to, Dunn. You were here yesterday and looked pretty good. In fact, I wanted to talk to you about your background, and yesterday it looked like you had a nice fireplace there. But anyway, Dungon is can come on in here. I'll put this link again.
Just got an update.
Okay.
So Blanche was saying that the Epstein files are being released today.
Yeah, that's apparently what they're saying, and this is more news on. It's weird to me that are they ashamed of indicting Don Lemon and they want to step on the story? I
don't know. I'm guessing they're using the mass distractions that they've been using against the Epstein files. Now they're using the Epstein files to mass distract from everything else.
Yeah, I get you now. I mean, maybe this is all about. Okay, the mass
flipping
distraction.
Around.
It's the mass distraction matrix now. I mean, I think that we're talking about. So anyway, let's get back over here to what he's saying.
Video,
if
one
we
or
can hear
another,
it,
you're
if
talking
that's
about
loud
that
enough, I
happened
don't know.
Apparently,
because that's still
some
not
days
loud
ahead
enough.
of last Saturday.
MS Now's feed is not needs
an
more
investigation,
volume, but
so
I've got it as high as it
investigation
goes.
Means just that. It means talking to witnesses. It means
Oh, now he's back to
sending subpoenas if
Minneapolis about the Petrie
the Department
shooting.
of Justice
So
Civil Rights
pretty
Division
shooting.
has the best
Oh, well.
experts in the world at this. They've been doing it for decades, and so I expect that investigation will.
I wish my friend Betty could come back. I've been wanting to get her on. She's great, but she looked like she was having technical troubles. A lot of folks I know are not used to like Zoom calls and stuff. And
I mean, yes.
My mom watched yesterday.
A learning curve. Oh, really?
Yeah. She said that she was surprised I didn't say more about Ilhan Omar because I love her. Love her.
Yeah, see, I wanted to focus on her today. Because I had the same feeling about that yesterday. I thought, I got onto other things, and I did want to because Jack brought her up. Jack came on and brought her up, and then we kind of moved on, and that's why I was actually going to focus on her today. But maybe we still will. Oh, here comes Jamie.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hi.
We're overwhelmed again with the news is coming at us from all sides.
So many.
So apparently we're tracking it now. Blanche apparently just announced they're releasing all the files.
Well, it's about time they got around to it.
Have you followed it? What he's talking about here?
4 reasons.
Okay, now he's back on it
With
here.
respect to any national security information,
Could hear this well enough. It's not real good volume.
There's not some tranche of super secret documents about Jeffrey Epstein that we're withholding. We're actually not withholding anything based upon NDI.
There's Jack.
Hey.
Yeah, we were just talking about. Katie was saying that her mother wanted us to talk more about Ilhan Omar yesterday, and I said, well, Jack tried to get us to, and we didn't listen to him.
I don't know what you're speaking to. I mean,
but I was all ready to focus on her today. I got some stuff
I mean,
the
you have
ready,
a
but
situation
now we
where
got all this news with Don
for
Lemon
many
getting
years,
arrested.
nobody
Now
even
apparently
breathed a word
Epstein
about
files
Jeffrey
are being
Epstein,
released,
and then all of a
they
sudden it was
claim,
all anybody
by
would talk about going into the
Todd
last
Blanche.
spring
I
and
don't know.
summer, culminating
Oh,
in the
where do we
stupid
begin?
Transparency Act and President Trump.
Well, now
What do you-
that
what-
they're
for years,
releasing them, do we
what I
get
think everybody will
to
find to be
hear
exactly true.
them naming
which is
names, or have they
detailing his
obliterated all
relation-
of that?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Well, if they did, the Epstein survivors have compiled a list, and they said if names are redacted, they will read off the names.
Oh, really? Who said that?
The Epstein survivors, all the
Oh, wow.
there's two of them that are very outspoken and will fight tooth and nail to get this done, and the rest of them kind of, they want to have their stories out, but they don't want to be public in the public eye constantly, which is fair.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that story's buried.
Which one?
Epstein.
Yeah.
It's not. It's gone. Unless somebody comes up with some handcuffs.
And see, that's the result I always wanted. I want the cover up to succeed, because that's what depresses MAGA turnout in the midterms. That's been my point, my position from day one. That's what is depressing the turnout. Is they are connecting the elitism of protecting predators and the elitism of the billionaires, controlling this administration, and it's breaking through in their minds. I mean, but we went on. The guy they elected to drain the swamp is filling the swamp. Well, yeah. What, Jack?
Trump successfully buried that one. Of course, he had to kill two people in Minnesota to get it done, but
well, this is strange. They're now saying right now, the Deputy Attorney General is saying they're releasing 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images today. So that's going to be a lot for people to go through.
Are you saying that Epstein is less of a problem than killing people in Minnesota is then? Well, they need to get the Minnesota story down quiet.
They need to figure it out.
Back.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're getting their own weapon. They're getting confused. Their own weapons of mass distraction strategy. They're getting confused themselves. It's like, which story do we need to distract from the most? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if anything happens to that little 5-year-old boy down in the Texas prison camp, they won't be able to shut that one up.
I don't know. I'm pessimistic today, I guess.
Are you? You sound a little pessimistic. What about Brewster?
He's down here. I'm in my easy chair, and I've got got it cocked up, and he's down here by my feet.
Oh, okay.
That's his spot when we go out.
See, now there's Brewster.
We went out shopping for chairs, and he had to go along with me so he could find a chair that worked for him as well as me.
Well, yeah. He needs his own chair. I always like it when we usually hear from Brewster when the mailman comes, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he wants to go out and say hello to the mailman.
This story was just posted on Blue Sky by Justin Hendricks with the New York Times. Or it was a New York Times thing, and it said a Minnesota woman observed ICE agents in her car, and she was cornered on a one-way street. An agent approached her, called her by name, citing facial recognition. Days later, her global entry and TSA privileges were revoked with no explanation.
That brings to mind something that I was thinking about when I saw a video the other day, and I think I played it on here, where this woman was interacting with an agent, and he took down her name, and she said, "Why are you taking down my name? I'm just filming you." And he said, "Well, you're going on a list as a terrorist, as a domestic terrorist." And that was it. And then but that got me thinking, I'll bet they're turning those names over to TSA.
Yeah, they are.
Right, to bar them from getting on planes.
And that's what you just got through reading there is what
Mhm.
happened to that woman. Is that right? They turned it over to TSA. So is that what you read, Katie?
Yeah. They're doing this facial recognition software, but they said
Yeah.
the app that they have is not 100% correct either.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So,
Because a lot of people then are going to get dragged into this wrongfully. I'm looking for that story. Yeah. So that makes, so that's what they're doing. I thought then, because this woman was kind of laughing it off, that you put me on, you calling me a domestic terrorist just because I filmed you, and she was kind of laughing it off. And at the time, I thought, that's what they're going to do. Now when that woman goes to an airport, she's going to get hassled.
also, and I will be honest, I'm kind of a modern pop princess. So I'm keeping up with all these pop stars things that are going on because of Nicki Minaj sucking up to Trump. And now she's got a gold card. She got the gold immigration card. Yeah. So now she's a citizen because she paid money in for it. Mm-hmm.
They were just at an event together where she was saying she was Trump's #1 fan and he was just beaming.
Anyway, several pop artists who have collaborated with her on different songs, on projects and stuff, are now re-recording the song without her. Like I just see right here, Avril Lavigne just removed her collaboration with Nicki Minaj on a song called Dumb Blonde from streaming platforms because she's going to re-record it.
Jeez.
So it's pretty bad if people are writing you off so much that they're not going to give you royalties anymore for being on their song.
Well, I didn't know much about her before, and I don't know much about her now, but
well, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I think I can live without it.
You can. And of course, Jesse Ventura is trying to say that Minnesota should succeed and join Canada.
Oh, really? Is that where he's going?
Yeah.
He's going to Canada.
He's like, we're basically Canada anyway. Why don't we just join Canada? Oh.
Well, let's get back into Elon Omar, because Jack started this yesterday with what I had also noticed. I just I just put my Safeway account on the page. Now, why did I do that? Anybody want any groceries? There it is. There's my Safeway account if we want to check some grocery prices. I was actually meaning to pull up trail mix. Okay. Anyway,
yeah, I saw a good clear picture of her with her fists raised.
Yes.
Yeah. That just got me.
I think it's interesting. The one that Colbert showed her cocking that fist back like she's getting ready to thump. But then the one Pogo showed that when she's doing it, it's a reaction, as also her security people have taken care of the situation. But
well, you said yesterday, which I thought it was almost like they were protecting him from her.
That's what it looked like from the Colbert clip. It was. I mean, that was a serious,
yeah, she was going after him.
Made the point that was a serious fist.
Yeah,
that was somebody that knew how to thump. And
yeah, and I mean, her life history is, she lived through a civil war already, and they came here from Somalia on asylum, and with the whole process, and she's lived here her entire, from the age of 14 up, became a U.S. citizen, everything. And she said she wanted to get involved in government and stuff. And here she is.
Yeah.
But she's been under scrutiny so much just because she is a woman. She is Somali, and that she's got a powerful voice and she uses it.
Yeah, well, that got me going yesterday. I got in. I wanted to get into some of the lies about the Somali community and this whole idea that they contribute nothing. I mean, I call this the $8 billion impact, the economic. Now they contribute over $8 billion annually to the Minnesota economy. And the freeloader myth, Somali households in Minnesota alone pay an estimated $67 million in local and state taxes, and their collective spending power. We're talking about just in Minneapolis here, or Minnesota at least. Their collective spending power exceeds $500 million, supporting retail sectors that would otherwise collapse in parts of Minneapolis. And then the second big lie, I went after three of the big lies. The other one is they don't work. They just want welfare. Well, the labor participation is their rate for Somali immigrants is approximately 70% participation in the workforce, which is higher than the average of 62% for the general population. And then the whole criminal wave crap,
Yeah.
we don't even track stats that way, so that's actually hard to actually put numbers on. But
I can tell you one crime that has happened that included a Somali, like a murder that happened with a Somali. And it was a Somali police officer who accidentally, well, he says he accidentally, but I think he did. He got scared and he shot her pretty much, killed a white woman. And it was a big deal for a little bit because it was really during all the uprising of Philando Castile's murder here, Dante Wright, and all the Black Lives Matter stuff. It was kind of in the mix of that. So then a black man, a Somali man killing a white woman, ooh, that was bad. And the thing is, that was during Trump also before in his first term. So they took that story and ran with it too.
Yeah. I mean, it's like everything else. You can take these anecdotal individual stories and then extrapolate them to the whole. And
right.
It's like I always try to say, anecdotes are not evidence. For any side,
No.
Now we did used to have a rule in our newsroom that three examples make a trend. if you were writing a story and you, what's that?
I always use the anecdote. It's a data point of one.
Yeah.
And that's it. It may be representative of the whole, and it may be representative of nothing but itself.
Yeah.
Did you ever look up that Todd Methan list of the United States, which ones he was willing to let join Canada and which ones were rejected?
Is that the one you put up yesterday?
No, that was a different one. That's one he goes state by state and reviews their applications and either accepts or rejects them. It's hilarious.
I don't think Canada wants any of us.
Texas is out.
Yeah.
California, Oregon, and Washington are in.
Well, here's just a minute from a local Minneapolis story on the Somalis in Minneapolis that I thought was
restaurant on East Lake Street. This is a Somali-owned business, and we talked to the owner who says he works very hard and pays his dues like many Somalis in the state, and he hopes that the president can recognize it. At Hamdi's restaurant on East Lake Street, if it's not the smell of grilled meat that lures you in,
this is the rice.
It's the welcome of the owner.
We are working hard, family. We are working 7 days a week.
Abdi Shakur Elmi moved to Minnesota from Somalia in the 90s. He and his family have run the restaurant for decades.
Like me and my dad, we work very hard every single day.
And it's their labor that's being questioned by the President of the United States.
These are people that work, they contribute nothing.
But that contradicts the research from Concordia University's economist, Dr. Bruce Corey.
I can share that information with him and he probably changed his mind.
According to his
Yeah,
research,
right.
Somali
Good luck.
income is at least $500 million in Minnesota. They pay $67 million
And you know who's
annually
putting
in
this
state
stuff
and
about
local
Somalis in
taxes.
his brain
The
is Tom
estimated
Emmer.
impact of these workers, the Somali workers in
Is that the
Minnesota,
congressman or
about
who is that?
Yes, and he's in my district.
That's with a B, not an L.
Oh, really?
And it's the way.
Well, see,
what
I
they
think it's
help
so
produce
important
and how that
in these
production
debates.
turn
I was into it
generates
and
and
back when
ripples
they were,
through the
you know, this
economy.
the Somalis are just the new Haitians. You know,
Yeah.
this is the same thing they did with the Haitians eating the dogs and stuff. You know,
I
they,
have a feeling,
and you know, it's what
retail
people want to hear.
probably
They hear it,
could be
they
first because
respond,
of
and then
that
they move. And then once it's all
massive
proven to be a big
consumer
effing
income.
lie, they just move on to another group. You
Hamdi's.
know, and
Another
you know,
issue
but
they're
once you
dealing
put
with
faces,
is
once people
callers
see these
saying
people in
this.
their jobs,
Go back
owning
to your
restaurants and
country,
so
you're
on,
like a filthy
you know,
Somali. You shouldn't be in
it
our
changes the
state.
dynamic with, you know, independent people who are not
It
who
is
are
hurtful.
who were swayed by all that prejudice, and then they
And we're
see
told
who
the
these people
restaurant
really
is
are. It's
usually
really important
busier,
to
but
get their
many people are
actual
staying away,
faces out there. I think.
fearing federal agents in the area.
Well,
Pomeroy Bray.
my basic experience, and you know, I lived for 30 years in an immigrant neighborhood, is that immigrants are probably a step above the average American. And that they work harder, they save more, they're more family oriented. The whole, you know, whatever everybody thinks Americans are, most immigrants are more than that.
Yeah. Well,
And I think
I've had that experience in Florida for sure. Same thing.
And I think
Yeah.
there's a simple reason for this. It's the old, I used to say about our old neighborhood was so run down when I first moved into that neighborhood and basically got saved by immigrants, is that everybody would get up and go and got up and went. And that's what's happened with the immigrants. They have some get up and go, and they come here and they leave the mega types back home.
Freeze, what have I done?
You know, they leave their idiots back home, and it's good people that come here.
Right.
So, you know, I've met Somalis, I've met good friends with some a Kenyan group. And I mean, they were all actually getting into the healthcare field, becoming nurses. And so it just.
Well, I mean, and Katie, I saw here there was a number on where was it? There was the actual number. Yeah, the entire population of Somalia is 260,000 people. Now, and they've turned our entire they've turned everything into focusing on a population of 260,000 people.
That have been here, what, 30 years now?
Since the mid to late 90s.
Yeah,
they've been indoctrinated into Minnesota culture. And I mean, I will tell you, it is the Somali moms that are going around handing out food and drinks and stuff to people who are protesting. They have made stuff and brought it to the Whipple building. They have been supporting people on the ground and helping organize for giving food to families that are afraid to leave their house. And you know, they're very good about taking care of their community, and that includes many people throughout the state that are having the same issues they are, but they're strong and they want to fight back.
Yeah, this clip here, this is effective. This is the kind of thing that has to be done in these situations. And I saw similar stuff about the Haitians, but this is good.
Every day I get to make Minnesotans healthier.
These are just
stronger.
These are just Somali Americans in Minnesota
financial system stay safe,
talking about who they are.
A Somali American school principal shaping tomorrow's Minnesota
one student at a time.
I'm a Somali American attorney, and I work every day to make Minnesota stronger and fairer.
I am a Somali American ICU nurse, saving lives and supporting families across Minnesota every day.
I am a Somali American police.
See, that's the thing I wish the news media would do more when these things happen, is showcase who these people actually are instead of allowing these cartoons to take hold.
I help run the systems that keep Minnesota
Anyway.
I'm a Somali American athlete.
I don't know. I think it's difficult for some of them to figure out how to do it. I'm trying to think what it was. I was watching the news the other day, and it was just like they didn't know how to, I guess, talk about everything that's going on.
Oh, that's a challenge. I don't envy the people in newsrooms. I mean, just playing around with my own little podcast here, I get overwhelmed trying to keep up, I can't imagine if I was actually doing this seriously for an income, if I was actually getting paid for it, trying to do a serious job, I would go nuts. I mean, just you wake up every day. What can I focus on today? And then you just miss a lot of stuff falls through the cracks. I mean, well, that's right. What Steve Bannon called. What did he call it? The fire hose? Anyway. The whole idea of this administration was to just overwhelm us on all fronts, and until we just can't react.
Well, and it's so abnormal. They're so abnormal that the professionals, they don't fit into any standard category that they're using. I mean, they don't know how to speak about, let's say, what's going on in Minnesota.
My favorite is when you see the clips of Fox News and they don't know how to process the information that's coming out. They're like short-circuiting on TV.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But that's why independent journalism is so important in this day and age. And that's why that's all I watch is independent journalists.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Aaron Parnas is one of those independent journalists. Midas Touch has their own network, but they're still independent journalists.
And they're really growing. They're growing too.
Yeah. And Status Quo and Mercado Media. I'm shouting out to Mercado because he's going through some stuff right now that he was doxxed by right-wing protesters. And they showed up at his house.
That there is
Speaking of Fox, I just want to see how Fox is covering
into
Don
the
Lemon
case
here.
with the murder of the killing, I should say, of Alex Preddy.
Oh, they're not. They were.
Well, look, I think that tracks with what the president and others have said, which is there is an investigation, not only into that
I thought
incident.
they were talking about Don Lemon. I was curious to see how their take on it.
Oh, I talked to a friend of mine that's in Tennessee yesterday, and she said all the news says down here is that there's riots going on in Minneapolis. I'm like, well, it's not.
And they're all paid by George Soros.
Yep.
I got into that. I got a commenter today from, I had a clip here from our conversation yesterday with Billy Bova talking about rural economy and how people are more hard pressed, have less cash than just about anybody in the country. And then one of the commenters on that video said, well, then that's why they're all taking money to go to the protests. I thought, good Lord, what kind of weird mind do you have to connect those dots?
And who exactly would be paying us besides George Soros?
Yeah.
Like, who would be paying us? It's not Antifa.
Yeah.
Antifa can't even bring donuts and coffee to the meetings, people.
Yeah.
Oh, I just did a Minnesotan, Oh my God. Sorry. Sometimes it really comes out.
And of course, the networks with their headlines, if it bleeds, it leads. They never get into the depth of a story. They just go with the headline. And of course, people are going to get weirded out by it.
that brings to mind, Jamie, a struggle I always had when I was in the business, because I always believed, I considered myself, I called myself, I think I invented the term. I don't know, it got circulation other places, but I considered myself what I called an explanatory journalist, and I would always get into struggles with editors because they go, oh, this is one of Craig, he wants to do one of his explainers, and they would put this graphic on, explain this, explain, and I was like, and they would turn it in, they would make it look like a college class, that you had, that you didn't want to go to, and I kept saying, no, let's not label it or anything, let's just make that part of our coverage, that when we cover a story, we include some explanation and context on the story, but they always want it because, like, oh boy, now we're going to get into the backstory of a story. We're going to do an explainer. We'll call it an explainer and put it all over the place. And so that's what happens now. I see that all the time when they decide they're going to go into some depth. They say in depth. Well, what that does is that tells people to move on because this is going to be boring.
Right. And I think that's why I think that's part of why they're releasing the files, because something big is going to happen today. I have a feeling. Or they're trying to, or because they know today is the nationwide lockdown, no work, no school, no shopping. And there's a protest today at 2 p.m. They're at in Minneapolis, at least. I don't know about around the country. But I'm hoping it's going to be streamed. One of my favorite bands from the 90s, their lead guitarist organized a concert at First Ave, which is where Prince got his start, and he owned it. And it's famous. It's famous. First Ave. It's famous. Anyway, so he's having a concert there, and he has several bands playing, but rumor has it Bruce Springsteen is going to be there.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. And also another singer I like from the 90s, because, I'm an 80s baby. Sorry. But yeah, so that concert's going on at noon, and then this march starts right after. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming they're like, oh, maybe people will get distracted by all the Epstein files coming out. Todd Blanche said 3 million pages, including 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. And somebody said, no wonder there's a shortage of black printer ink. And then another person said, oh, so that's why they arrested 4 black reporters and activists last night. Yeah.
Well, then I like, but then Jack's got his theory that they're actually doing this to distract from the Minnesota story. Now the Epstein story has become a tool for distraction from other stories. That could be. I just want to show you this guy that I was wrestling with this morning on Billy Bova's. Billy Bova's piece about the economic problems of the rural. This person says, and they're also the same ones who keep voting against their own interests. So I guess on top of not having much money, they don't have much education either. I'm a rural voter myself, and then that person, prompted a response that this one here says, that's why it's easy to find protesters who will take money to go out and stand up for criminals.
Oh, cheese and rice.
So it started out with a comment that was pretty good, and then this person picks up that, and then my response. See, I love playing with the trolls. For one thing, it's good for engagement on YouTube statistics. But yes, the everyone I disagree with is secretly on a payroll economic theory. Solid analysis. And then the guy comes back at me. Common sense when you see the professional signs, and when asked, people carrying didn't even know what they said. I mean,
where was that? I'd love to see that.
Yeah. And then I went back at him on that, and then somebody actually asked, I like somebody else chimed in with this guy. We just watched a whole clip about why voters are tapped out and frustrated. Trust me, the anger is free of charge. No payment required.
Truth.
Anyway, that was on Billy's.
You got to think about this though, is that, and I did see a post about it, is that Minnesotans are putting up a fuss about this because of all the situations that we've had where, I mean, the thing is, we have no, in the last year, just in the last year, we had the death of Melissa and Mark Hortman it was a political assassination. We had
the legislators.
That happened in June. Yeah. Then we had Annunciation Church, or the school where the kids, 2 kids were killed, the school shooting, while they were in church that morning. And then we've had ICE in town, and that started like beginning of November, and it was very quiet at first. And I think that was probably the time that they were getting all the people that were in custody already from our jails, and we're just being transferred them, because that did happen. And that has been happening all along, it turns out, according to our Department of Corrections. Yeah. It's been happening all along. And ICE is saying they captured them. Well, no, you were transferred them. So different thing. But it wasn't until the beginning of December that they started taking people off the street randomly. And that's when the protests started. It just ramped up after Renee Good's killing.
There are still people missing that they haven't found, right?
Yep.
Crazy.
Oh, and we did find out there was a conference yesterday with a bunch of congressional people from all over the country that came here to support on a panel, and they talked to I think he was the lawyer for the Lakotas. I can't remember. But they still have three missing Native Americans.
Those three are still missing.
They're still missing. Supposedly, they say they look Ecuadorian, and that's why they arrested them. Okay. But the guy goes, of course they can look Ecuadorian. They're our cousins. Like, we're all related. All of the,
My sister has a friend who is Navajo. And when she was in college, she would be mistaken for, of course, the Vietnamese boat people had just come over. So she would be called Vietnamese. She would be called Mexican.
Oh, gosh.
And all kinds of different things. And she actually, right now, she's living with her daughter. She's had some illness problems.
Oh.
And so she's living with her daughter in St. Louis. And she is worried because she has been basically verbally attacked for, told to go back home.
Yeah.
And she's worried about this whole ICE thing. Because she isn't blonde and white.
Is the mailman there? I hear Brewster.
No.
That's the parrot. Is that your parrot?
Yeah, he's sitting here just kind of chirping a little bit.
Oh, that's the parrot.
That's his happy chirp.
We never have seen the parrot.
My son always wants one.
Let me see if I can flip around and you can see him.
I would like to see the parrot. Yes.
There you go.
Ooh.
I'm wanting that. Oh, yeah. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger. Oh, boy, that's a nice cage.
Yeah. Do you let him out of his cage every once in a while?
What's that?
Do you let him out of his cage?
Yeah, I usually do of a morning. I just didn't open the cage door. I put a little cover over him at night.
Well, now, is he much trouble? I mean, you're giving me, I think I can't get a dog as much as I want one because I don't have a yard. But
here's the thing about a parrot is they live forever.
Yeah.
So you've got to plan. With him, I'm going to have to plan what to do with him if I have to go into nursing home.
Oh yeah,
he's way too mean to be around old people. That
I've heard that. Are they mean actually?
Oh, he could. When we first got him, he was. They are. He had bonded with a woman, so he's a rescue bird. And we brought him home, and he got along fine with Sherry. But the first week we had him, Sherry kept letting him out of the cage, and he would fly and attack me as hard as he could.
Oh, really?
And when they attack, they draw blood.
I bet, because those beaks look serious.
Because that's why I say, I tell people, I said, you look at that nut, he can crack those nuts. Well, your finger bones are easier than that.
Mm-hmm. My son wanted a parrot a few years ago. He was all about parrots, and I'm like, dude, your parents are not equipped to deal with avian things. So I don't know why you would even go that route. But so for Christmas that year, my mom got him one of the robot talking parrots so he could see what it would be like to have a parrot. So every so often we'll hear him talking to the parrot and the parrot responding, the remote, and he goes, after like 6 months, he goes, yeah, I don't think I need a real parrot. This one's fine.
Yeah,
my stepmother
demand
had
a lot of
parrot.
attention.
Yeah, my stepmother had a parrot, and once they bond with you, they're wonderful. She would carry them all around the house and everything. But if you're part of their flock and you kick the bucket, you better be prepared to hand them over to somebody that they already know, because otherwise they are going to be hell and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Well, now does yours talk, Jack? Can it talk?
No, he doesn't. Well, he will talk to my niece, who is blonde hair, and he will say hello to her, but he won't, all he does is squawk at me and demand stuff.
What are they?
Where I'm part of his world now, but boy, I'll tell you what, that when Sherry was alive, it was like he figured that I was the competition.
Wow.
He was trying to drive me off.
That's hysterical. What do they eat?
My stepmother's parrot, when she was in a different room from his caged area, when he was out of his cage, you would hear this, Mary, come get me. Mary, come get me.
Now, Sherry had bought a parrot when she was like 30 years old, and she bought him as a chick and trained him, and that parrot actually had language.
Oh, okay.
He picked up phrases, he did the parroting human phrases, but he understood they had meaning. So when she had a phrase where she would try to get him to want to know if he wanted to go back to his cage, and she'd say, well, you want to go upstairs? And he picked that up, and that phrase, you want to go upstairs, he'd say it real quick, and it meant take me somewhere. And then he would say it, and then if you ignored him, he would say, come on.
Aww.
As a modifier. So, to me, that's language.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actual
They're very intelligent birds, but they do take a lot of care.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to play this. We're getting close to our hour here. I was going to play this video you got from this Canadian yesterday, Jamie. That was so funny. Well, what are you going to have for us tomorrow, Katie? Just when I think Minneapolis is going to slow down, something kicks on. They arrested Don Lemon, so now.
Well, I will not be on the show. I won't be here tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
It's called taxes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go do taxes tomorrow, so I won't be here. But I'll try and update anything that I find. But I'm just hoping the protest goes okay today, and We don't have any crazy stuff because some of these right-wing podcaster people are in town and they're ready to cause havoc. They've posted online that they're going to do that. So hope that it stays safe.
Well, I think you guys have done a great job out there because you kept it peaceful and you made a difference and you backed them down. Because when I saw Homan yesterday saying, you know, we're going to draw down 3 times, and then when he said we're not surrendering, when you say you don't, when you say you're not surrendering, you're surrendering. They're surrendering. I mean,
but then several hours later, Trump said, "No, we're not pulling out anytime soon."
Well, yeah, I saw that. That was a quick thing they threw at him when he was at the movie premiere. And I mean, of course he's going to say that. But anyway.
The movie premiere. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, good to talk to everybody. I'm going to wind up with this thing Jamie found yesterday from this Canadian. And if anybody else got anything or...
Have a great one.
Just stay safe.
You too.
Protest as much as you can.
Yeah, it works. People say it doesn't work, but it works.
All right. Well, have a good day, everybody.
All right.
And you know what? Benevolent leader Chairman Trump has issues with the Somali people. And you know what? I don't blame him. They're responsible for a lot up here in Canada, too. They started showing up in the 90s with nothing. And then instead of staying quietly desperate like good immigrants should do, they started opening businesses, restaurants, trucking companies. Who gave these people the right to just walk in and start paying taxes? Somali people keep opening companies up left, right, and center, tech startups and import-export firms and transportation companies. This guy, Khalid Hashi, built a health tech company in Alberta focused on maternal and child health. His company took from this country awards, international recognition. Somali kids end up going to colleges and universities at much higher rates than our people, flooding this country with engineers and teachers and nurses and professionals. It's completely inconsiderate. They're starting to infiltrate the media here too. One of them founded Integration TV and spent years telling positive stories about Somali life. That makes it much harder for people to stereotype. The whole thing was so disturbing that Ontario named a high school after her. And they stick their nose everywhere, building community institutions like settlement agencies and youth programs, English classes, job training. In Ottawa, Somali organizations raise money for Syrian refugees, former refugees helping new refugees. What the hell is even that? Toronto's now getting a 100,000 square foot Somali center for culture and recreation. It's going to have sports gyms and art spaces and employment services, and they're going to let everyone use it, even the white people. Listen, if Somali Canadians keep destroying our country this way, we are going to have to admit the worst possible truth. They're doing exactly what we said we wanted immigrants to do.
We are